So, security in the spotlight on the African continent again. We're joined by SABC's international news editor, Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thanks for being with us. Remember when we were talking about the silencing of the guns, it seems that a lot of the hope has faded. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I think we have regressed as a continent. And I think yesterday, when the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, was speaking to Professor Falola, a scholar from Nigeria, in the panel, he pointed out that maybe during the implementation of the AU reforms that were led by the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and of course, Tito Mboweni, our former Minister of Finance, was part of that team. There are changes that were proposed, and the AU has since taken a decision to implement those proposals. One of the proposals was that previously, when the AU was launched, you had a committee that deals with political issues and also the one that deals with issues that are related to peace and security. Now, when the reforms were implemented, both committees became one. And therefore, when you look at the challenges that we are facing, you will see that the start is political instability and squabbling. And from there, you move to the conflict. Now, when they are, if you have one committee that deals with these two issues, you will have a problem because you'll tend to focus on peace and security, which is an aftermath in terms of where the conflict starts and in terms of the reason why you find yourself in that situation. And therefore, he was saying better to have these two separated, have two different committees, so that the committee that deals with political matters can start to look at the signs when they are there, early warning systems, when there is political tension that is likely to play itself into a security matter. And that's what's happening in the DRC, between Rwanda and DRC right now, and with accusations that Rwanda is supporting the M23 rebels. But the M23 rebels, I remember, after Tshisekedi was elected, they recommended that there should be talks. I don't know what happened. And therefore, failure to follow up on that political process where the M23 rebel at that time were willing to engage led to a situation where perhaps they got disgruntled and we are where we are. And therefore, the AU must return to the basics. Ensure that you monitor countries, the political changes, and the political problems before they become security challenges. Today, we have regressed, more coups, and also more conflicts, including our region, Cabo Delgado, Mozambique.
And what you're saying makes absolute sense, that the incipience there, many believe, was political as well. So looking at the DRC, you mentioned these heightened tensions with Rwanda. It's always been a complex situation. Will a solution be found?
I think if the East Africa community, you know that DRC is now a member of the East Africa community, and also Rwanda is part of that regional bloc. If they can insist on ensuring that both Rwanda and DRC are able to engage, and as they have started today under the chairmanship of the President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, I think we may find a solution. And of course, they must get a support from the SADC region as well. You know that DRC is part of our region, and therefore South Africa in particular must play a prominent role. South Africa has got an experience in terms of assisting to resolve the problem in the DRC. You know that it started with Madiba, when he engaged Mobutu Sese Seko, and then later President Mbeki, as the head of state of South Africa, was involved in the Congolese dialogue. You know, they brought all stakeholders here in Sun City that led to the democratic dispensation there and elections, and Kabila prevailed. And I think if they can involve SADC with experience too, we have a strong military contingent there. The South African Defense Force is part of the peacekeeping mission in the DRC, and they are part of the intervention force. And I know that the United Nations rely on South Africa to bring peace in that region. I mean, our soldiers are a largest contingent in the DRC or Great Lakes region, and therefore we must be involved. And of course the AU must be firm at heads of state level. The coming meeting must really address these issues of conflict. They did have a meeting in Malabo recently, and I think they need perhaps someone to wake them up and ask hard questions. Why are they not doing what they are supposed to do? And I can go as far as saying sleeping on the job. And then the UN also, as the global body, must ensure that it does its work. The responsibility of the UN when it was launched after the World War II, with the Security Council being part of the organ of the United Nations, was to ensure maintenance of peace globally. And right now, Africa dominates the agenda of the Security Council.
All right, thank you very much. And of course, your team also following events in Mali. That was one of our earlier stories. That was SABC News' international editor, Sophie Mokoena.